There are three types of cyber attacks hitting construction and trade businesses harder than almost any other industry right now. And most owners, they have no idea it's coming until it's already happened. I'm going to walk you through all three of those threats, how they work, and what you can actually do about it in this video. I'm Don. I run Don's Tech Rescue. I provide proactive technology management for construction and trade businesses in Western Pennsylvania. And this is the exact kind of thing I deal with. Not after the fact either, but before it happens, which is the only time it actually matters. So let's get started. Why is construction and trade businesses in the hot seat for threats? Well, it's pretty simple. You guys handle a lot of money. Project payments, subcontractor invoicing, supplier orders, payroll, large dollar amounts moving around constantly. That makes you pretty darn attractive because the payoff potential is so high. But at the same time, most trade businesses are running with little to no dedicated IT support. No one is watching your systems. No one is checking whether your email is configured securely or whether your employees know how to spot a scam. You're not protected the way a bank or a hospital is, but you're handling money at a volume that makes you worth going after. That's the combination right now. High value target, low barrier to breach. The people running these attacks know it, and they're counting on you not knowing that. For our first threat, I want you to picture something. Imagine someone on your team gets an email like a DocuSign or a shipping notification from a vendor that they recognize. They're going to go ahead and they click on it because they think, I'm expecting this. I know this email. Well, something goes ahead and installs in the background almost immediately. And within a couple hours to a few days, your files are now locked. Job records, contracts, blueprints, invoicing, employee data, all of it is inaccessible now. Then on top of that, you get a message. Pay us in cryptocurrency and we'll go ahead and unlock your files. Don't pay us and we'll go ahead and keep those locked for you. And on top of that, we're going to go ahead and publish your data publicly or sell it to the lowest bidder. That's ransomware. For a construction business, this stops everything. The job site might be running, the crew might be getting paid, but you can't pull up your plans. You can't find your contracts. You can't invoice anymore. The business behind the work is frozen, and every day it stays that way is costing you real money. The ransom itself runs anywhere from a few $1,000s to a few hundreds of thousands, depending on the size of your operation, and paying that doesn't even guarantee that you're going to get your files back. But here's what actually protects you, right? First is backups, but specifically backups that are isolated from your main systems. When a ransomware encrypts your files, it can't reach a copy that's stored separately. If you have a clean backup from yesterday off-site, a ransomware attack becomes a serious inconvenience instead of a business-ending event. The second thing is endpoint protection, right? Not just antivirus. We're not talking about Windows Defenders here. We're talking about security software specifically designed to detect and block ransomware before it executes. The third thing for you is training. Most ransomware gets through with a click. If your team recognizes a phishing email, a lot of attacks stop before they start. For the second threat, it's a bit related to ransomware, but it's different enough that I want to talk about it because I'm seeing it show up in the industry a lot more on its own. It's called a cyber extortion attack. And they don't go in and lock your files, right? They get into your system, they steal your data, and then they're threatening to publish it or sell it unless you pay up. Client information, contracts, financial records, employee data, subcontractor detail. They have it now, and they're threatening to release it. This is particularly damaging for construction businesses because your clients are trusting you with project details, site access information, sometimes sensitive government or commercial data. A breach doesn't just cost you money. It costs you relationship and reputation in an industry where word of mouth is literally everything. Here's the part that makes cyber extortion different from ransomware. Even if you pay, you can't verify the attacker deleted the data. Just like you can't verify that when you pay up in ransomware, they're going to unlock your files. Right? You're paying for a promise from someone who just committed a crime against you. And that is, there's no way to undo that once it's happened, which is why prevention is the only real answer. What protects you is similar to ransomware with one addition. You need to control who has access to what inside your business. Not everyone on your team needs access to every file. Limiting access means that if one account gets compromised, the attacker can only reach what that person could reach, right? Not everything. You also need to know whether something unusual is happening on your network. If someone's copying large amounts of data at 2 o'clock in the morning out of your systems, there should be a trigger for that. Without monitoring, you'd never know unless they contacted you. So for my third threat, this one tends to get underestimated a lot. But it's also the one costing the most money to construction and trade businesses right now. I need you to listen to this scenario, and I want you to really think about it. You're in the middle of a project. You get an email from a subcontractor, or what looks like your subcontractor, telling you their bank account information has changed. Go ahead and send the next payment to this new account. Okay, the email looks right. The name looks right. The context is right. You were about to send this guy money anyways. So you go ahead and update that information and send the payment. Well, guess what? That guy never got it, and the money's now gone. It went to an attacker who either got into your email or your subcontractor's email, watched the conversation, waited for the right moment, and then stepped in exactly when the money was about to move. The FBI consistently reports business email compromise as one of the highest dollar loss cybercrimes in the country. In construction, where project payments run into hundreds of thousands of dollars, one successful attack is devastating. And the reason it works so well is that it doesn't rely on malware or technical exploits. It relies on trust. The attacker isn't breaking through your defenses. They're pretending to be someone you already trust at a moment when you have no reason to be suspicious. What stops it is process as much as technology. Any request to change payment information gets verified with a phone call to a number you already have on file, not in the email. You don't trust the email. Never trust an email at face value. That one step alone stops most of these attacks cold. And then on the technology side, multi-factor authentication on your email accounts makes it much harder for an attacker to get in and impersonate you in the first place. Email security tools that flag messages from outside your organization or detect spoof sender addresses give you a fighting chance too to catch it before someone acts on it. So those are the 3 threats and how to deal with them, right? They're real, they're active, and they're hidden businesses like yours right now. But none of them are inevitable, right? You can protect yourself. It doesn't require a full IT team or an enterprise budget to get there. What it requires is someone who knows what to look for and has the right things in place before something goes wrong. That's what I do at Don's Tech Rescue. I work with construction and trade businesses in Western PA to build a tech setup that actually protects them, backups that work, endpoint protection that's real, email security that catches stuff your team might miss, access controls that limit the damage if anything gets through, and monitoring that tells me when something unusual is happening so that we can stop it before it becomes your problem. If you want to know more about where your business might actually stand, I offer a free IT assessment. No cost, no commitment. We look at your setup together. I tell you exactly where your gaps are, and you walk away with a clear picture of what you're at risk at and what it would take to take care of it. If you found this video useful, I put out videos every week for construction trade owners in Western PA. Subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you then.